talk to you guys real quick. I ain't gonna over talk it. I wanted to talk about um, being wise in this income tax season, and there's so many people who will receive, quite a bit of funds, and they ain't gonna know what to do with it. There'll be a group that get it today, and they'll be broke pretty much within a month, even not even a month. And so the money will come and go as if it's holes in their pocket. And so I want to encourage people in this season that you're in. I can't tell you what to do. I'm no financial advisor. I'm just speaking from experience and just trying to coach you through this process of maybe shifting your mind in this season when it comes to the resources of the income tax that you'll get. Like I stated, you're going to do what you want to do with your money. But if I can encourage you in this season, I want you to be able to position yourself to one ownership. What can you own? What can you buy in this season? How can you position yourself financially to be financial free? You know, how can you develop in this income tax season? Can you allow the money to work for you? Can you actually be a risk taker, and maybe the business that you've had inside of your heart and soul, and the only thing that's been holding you back from it is not just having the resources, or maybe your credit is not in position to where you can get a business loan. And so there's many different variables and approaches on how you can go about position yourself to ownership, or to position yourself with the leverage to buying a business or starting a business. How can you allow the money to actually work for you versus just trying to save it and it doesn't move for you? Money was created to work for you. Money was created to move, and money was created to position you to ownership. I realize that the more I can own things, the more I can help society and help my community, and obviously help my future. Healthy money is what positions you for your future in your 401k. Your mindset is your 401k. The more you can create in your mind and put the plan of action and live with those results, you'll position yourself because you can have a respect for money, and you can have a respect for time. And this is something that a lot of people are very sensitive about, but we have to be honest with ourselves. In this season, how can I maximize the opportunity instead of trying to go get things that I know I cannot afford? Or you are buying something when it comes to for a car. I know so many people right now trying to go buy brand new cars, but they cannot afford the car. They can afford it now, but they can't afford it later. So they go out and get a $50,000 or $40,000 car note payment. I mean, buying it, and they got payments that is $800 to $900, and they really don't have the money to do it, but they got the down payment, but they don't have the money every month because they actually don't make that kind of money. And so now they're stuck with a car that they can't afford, and they're in more debt than they was before. That doesn't make any financial sense. That doesn't position you to have an ownership. So I would encourage you, if you can go out and buy a cash car and you have the right to it, it could be something reliable, something you go get, do the due diligence, go take a mechanic with you, or know someone that know how to work on cars, who are professional, that can give you the proper advice. If you're going to buy a used vehicle, at least you can go get a inspection with a professional mechanic, and then you put yourself in the leverage to where you have ownership. That's what you want to do, because there's a lot of great used vehicles out there that don't cost you, five, six, $7,000, and you can get probably 6 to 7 years out of, if you can just maintain it. There's one owner cars out there all day, especially in this season, and they're not trying to get you for all of these fees and so forth, or they're not trying to take advantage of you. They're just trying to give an honest transaction. So that's what you want to be attracted to, because it will allow you to be in the position financially to where you can start taking a chance and maybe buying a business or maybe investing in yourself to develop to get you in the right position for your future. Instead of trying to take this lump sum of money and feel like this is going to be a forever thing. There's so many people that I know personally who have got their income tax, and you can't tell them nothing right now. But 3 months from now, they're going to be broke. 3 months from now, they're going to live paycheck to paycheck. 3 months from now, I'm not speaking negativity. I'm just telling you the behavior of what I've seen and those people who have been in my life. And I'm like, whoa, you just got a lump sum of money just 2 months ago, but you didn't manage it correctly. So now they receive the monies, but they don't know what to do with it because they don't understand the psychology or they don't understand how to respect money. The first thing you have to do in this season, instead of trying to go out and buy the Louis and all of those things, if you cannot afford it right now, don't do it. Put yourself in a position to where you can be able to buy in the future. Again, I'm no financial advisor. I'm simply giving you my experience and what has allowed myself to think in this consciousness, because there's so many people who want to do right, but they're out spending or they don't have people in their life who has their best interest. They're just impulse emotional spenders. You don't want those type of people in your life in this season, because you will find yourself back to square one, and you know in your heart that you don't want to live paycheck to paycheck. I want somebody to subscribe. I want somebody to comment. I want somebody to go share this content, because I know that you know somebody that knows somebody. Please do that for me. Let's continue growing this channel. But nevertheless, I want you guys to understand. I want you guys to understand that when you are in this position financially, you're in this position to better assist yourself. I told somebody, I put a quote out not too long ago. I said, if you don't respect time, time don't respect you. And the reason why that's so profound is because you'll know those people who put the time and the work in to where they can respect time, because you see the results of their manifestation, because they actually was willing to educate themselves. They was willing to position themselves. They was willing to be students. They got in the position to where they have something. They have something to show. And the show is the byproduct of a person who invests in their time is the resources that comes out of it. Their 401k was in their, again, in their mindset, the mindset that they positioned themselves into, all because they took a chance on themselves. They was willing to be a person that they never been before. So in this season, I want you to look at it from a broad perspective. Don't look at this as forever money. Look at it as an opportunity to where you can position your family financially. Eventually, if you can invest, you can invest in yourself. And if you can do that, you can eventually work yourself out of your 9 to 5 by willing to invest in yourself, willing to buy a business, willing to take a chance and go against the odds. Because you know you're miserable at your 9 to 5, but you're doing it because you look at the 9 to 5 as a guarantee. And the truth of the matter is nothing is guaranteed. It's a business. And a business is going to do, no matter if it's a Fortune 500 company, the Fortune 500 company is going to do what's best for themselves, for the company. And so if that is getting rid of decline, I mean, not declining, if they're willing to I can't even use the word right now. If they're willing to downsize, there we go. If they're willing to downsize, you just gonna be in that number. And how many friends and how many stories we've heard on social media to where they've been working for a company for 15, 20 years, and then they decided to downsize. I'm not trying to speak negative. I just want you to have a reality of life. Nothing in life is guaranteed outside of Jesus Christ. And that requires a energy, that requires a willingness, that requires a plan of action. Outside of Jesus Christ, there's nothing else in life. Your wife, your marriage, your kids, nothing. Your bank accounts, your investment, none of that is guaranteed. Only thing is guaranteed is Jesus Christ. And that's, he say, heaven and earth to pass away, but my word will be forevermore. He said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. So we know that he will never leave us or forsake us. But with that, for us to understand that mentality, we must have a wisdom and an understanding to help position ourselves. And when you can position yourself by having a different mindset and a different approach, and to let money work for you, or position yourself to where money can become a resource to where you can be blessed to be a blessing, for you can be the lender and not the borrower. We don't talk about that. Home ownership is important. And what you got to understand is that when you can have ownership, if you can have ownership in your car, if you can have ownership in your house, if you can have ownership in the majority of the stuff that you own in your house, you leverage yourself to where you are the boss. You are the person that's in control, and you can do what you want to do with it, to where if you want it to work for you, if you want your home to work for you, you could probably start a community living type of business. Or if you want to let your home work for you, you can probably start Airbnb. There's many different platforms. Or you go get corporate accounts. For traveling nurses, I'm just throwing some ideas out there for you because I noticed to work. Traveling nurses, and you could charge per room. You could charge $1,300, $1,400. But let's say your mortgage is $1,800, and you got a 3 bedroom, 2 bath home. Well, guess what? You can charge now. You can charge $1,100, $1,200 per room, and then you got 3 people in there who don't mind sharing community living. And here you are, your mortgage is 18 after you got taxes and insurance on your home. You're talking about 18, and now you rent your home for let's say $3,000 a month, and that's after all things are covered. You're making an additional $1,200. And when you could, make an additional $1,200 a month, you think about that. If you get that, that's almost $15,000 that you make extra in a year, that you really didn't work for. Think about that. So allow money to work for you. These are the things that you can do when you own stuff, or you have a car. Instead of having a car, no, I just helping this person not too long ago. Um, I was I was coaching him, and I said, hey, instead of trying to take on a payment every month, just buy your car outright. So those individuals decided to buy a car outright and start crying because they didn't realize the power that comes with ownership. Yeah, it was something small. That's cool. But they're moving in the right direction to where it saved them. One person was getting having a payment of like $500 a month, and then their insurance was I think like $150 a month. So you think about it. If they getting something that's almost $650 a month, you think about it. That's almost $8,000 that they have saved just in one transaction. That makes a world of a difference on your approach. And you can now use that $650 to go invest in something else, or at least every month that you have $650 that you can go invest into something. You can pour it into something, you can put it in the stock market, whatever you decide to do with that. You have positioned yourself with ownership. And people have to understand, when you have ownership, you have leverage. When you have ownership, you have more freedom. That's the key to it. But if you don't have ownership, or if you don't know how to respect money, money will never respect you. You know why money will never respect you? Because you're going to get the same results that you got the first time, that paycheck to paycheck. See, if you can't increase the money that you're receiving, how can you respect the money? Because now you don't have the psychology and the understanding about the money. You thinking money just growing on trees, or you thinking money is just going to always be a part of your life. Again, nothing in life is guaranteed. So you have to learn how to look at your situation in this tax season, and you got to ask the question, how can I get out of financial debt? Or if I need a car and that's been on my monkey, been on the back, but this monkey been on my back all year long because I can't afford, and I've been having car issues, I've been having car problems, and I can't find a reliable, individual as far as to buy from it, let's say in your community. You have to learn how to, one, buy right, and hire people, or find people who have integrity, who will be honest with you in their profession. If it's a mechanic, a mobile mechanic, someone that you can trust, that you can actually trust them to go with you if you decide to purchase this car, and it can be mechanically sound. At least the car has been maintained and been taken care of. You have to learn how to say, you know what, maybe in this season, instead of me going to give $8,000 to go buy a car that costs $30,000, let me use that $8,000 to go buy me a reliable, a Toyota or a Honda type of product. instead of me trying to go get a flashy car that look good and you worrying about status. Don't focus on status. Focus on reliability. You know the thing with Toyota. This Toyota. I'm not even sponsored by Toyota. Maybe I need to be sponsored by Toyota because I'm about to give them a little shout out. Everybody know Toyota for what? Reliability. But their commercial says going places. See, when you can buy a Toyota product and it's been taken care of and maintained, man, you're gonna get some years out of it. I'm speaking from experience myself. I have bought Toyota products 20 years old and the car run like it's new. The car run like it's new. All because it has been well taken care of. And I know what to look for and I understand the product because I've had the product for quite a while. And I'm not afraid to buy a product like Toyota with high mileage because I know what I'm getting out of it. And so you have to be able to look at, what's not sexy, but what makes sense for your family, what makes sense for your future. And getting a nice SUV. I don't know what your size family is. I don't know what size your family is. If it's a Camry or if it's an SUV or if it's a full size. I would just encourage you to do your homework. I would encourage you to want to surround the right people around you because when you look at your life gonna be here today. And next thing you know, you'll be 40. Next thing you know, you'll be 30. Next thing you know, you'll be going into your 30s. And you want to position yourself. So many people get caught up in the guarantees, and there's nothing like in guarantee. I don't care if you work for a company 20, 30 years. I was reading an article about ESPN, and they were saying they had to downsize and there was people that we seen on TV every single day. They had to let them go because that was not part of their business future of having all these employees. I was reading the story how they downsized, and it was nothing personal. It just was a business decision that they decided to make. And there has been people who we have seen on TV for many, many years or decades. They had to let go. It was nothing personal. It was just business. And you'll think a person that's been with a company for 20, 30 years that they won't let them go. But you can't look at life like that. You have to look at what's best for the company or what's best for the individuals. And so I realize that there are many people have to understand about their future in this income tax season. What is best for your future? Are you willing to be owner? You willing to have ownership? Are you willing to be a lender? Are you willing to be a borrower and you become so familiar with that and you become so comfortable that you don't know anything else? And so many people, I want to say this, so many people have this misconception to feel like in this season, because they are receiving, thousands of dollars, some 10, some 15, some 20,000. It just depends on their situation. So many tax credit for their kids and all that. That's cool and all that. And these people feeling like they're the Joneses, that they feel like this money is guaranteed to be there for the rest of their life. They're thinking that this is forever money. And not understanding you gotta have a strategy. Because guess what? There's somebody else out there that know how to sell something. And if you don't have any discipline, you'll fall for it every time. I've been there, done that. I've been a person that's been a poor manager over my finances. I've been a person that's living a life that I couldn't necessarily live in that season. And I've seen it so much. So many people coming to me right now and they're asking, what should I do or whatever? Or, I've been coaching them up and saying, man, look at your finances, look at your situation, see what you need and not what you want. Again, I'm no financial advisor, but I can speak from life experiences from myself. And I always use myself as a reference and tell them, don't be like I used to be. Be better than me. Because you're not going to have to go through some of the issues that I went through because I had no coach. I had no friend that can give me some wisdom, or somebody that have life experiences and like, no, wait a second, think about before you do this and do that. You need positive and healthy people who can help you, who have your best interests in this season. If not, you're gonna find yourself continue struggling and struggling, with the rat race of 9 to 5. There's so many of you guys who are super close with investing into your future, and you are a business owner. And the only reason why you haven't been a business owner is because one, you're not willing to walk by faith, and two, you're not willing to be a risk taker, or three, you just don't have the mindset. So now you have the resources, so there's no excuses. And so I want you to think about that when you're looking at how you should approach spending your tax money this season. I can't tell you what to do. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to try to encourage you, to give you a different approach on how you should maybe consider. You know, at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for your family. You have to do what makes sense for you in this season. And sometimes, if you're willing to sacrifice in this season, it can set you up for your future, for the long haul. Again, I don't want to overtalk it. I feel like a person, the Lord put this on my heart to just have a very practical type of conversation. And I've been very fortunate to have these conversations with people who want to have a better life, who want to be able to approach life from a broad perspective. And I feel like anybody, if you're willing to put in the work and you're willing to become an individual that you've never been before, I believe great things can happen in your life. And the first things first is the mindset. You know, I grew up in poverty. I grew up with rats and roaches. That's how I grew up. I grew up that way. I grew up with no neither mom or dad in my life. And I was willing to not be like what I was around and what I seen all my life. I wasn't willing to just trying to accept mediocrity as a normalcy. I was willing to change it because I knew that there was more to life, even though I was in that environment. I knew I wanted more out of life. And I'm telling you this from I want to encourage you because I don't try to act like I'm any and everybody because I haven't arrived. I'm still growing and becoming. But I want you, maybe you wasn't in poor conditions like myself. Maybe you're in a better position. Maybe you grew up around, better environment. Maybe you grew up around people. I grew up around men who didn't have careers. That's what I grew up around. I grew up around men who was in and out of marriages and womanizers. That's what I grew up around. That's what I seen. I grew up around women who've been married 5 or 6 times. I'm just being honest with you. And so there's those type of people. Divorce was normal. I'm not here to knock it, but that's what I grew up around. And I didn't want that for my life personally. You see what I'm saying? And so the one of the biggest things that they talk about this, and you guys know that I've done extensive research on this. One of the major reasons in divorces in today's time, one of the top 5 reasons is financial. And people are not finance, they don't know how to manage, or they don't have an understanding of financial education and financial respect and financial psychology. They don't understand that, or they grew up the way they always seen when it came to their approach to finances was never really a thing. So they never had a love for financial understanding. They've always disrespect money unconsciously, all because no one ever taught them. And then as they got older, they just did what everybody else did and they never figured it out for themselves. And that used to be me for many years until God had to open up my understanding. And I knew that, it was a period of time I was, making real good money and had nothing to show for it. I was still struggling every month as if I'm a person that's making $10,000 or $20,000. I'm not there to knock those people who make that, but I wanted more in life than that type of income. And so I had to get an understanding. And so many of my friends who making, 6 figures a year or even 7, and they still got the nice cars and the nice homes, but they're in $2 million worth of debt. And it's not like it's good debt to where the debt is something that you created because you started a business and it's just taking a little while for the money to really start flowing. Because in business, sometimes it works that way to where you're starting something and it might seem like you have so much debt, but it's not a debt of being irresponsible. It's a debt of it costs money to start a business. And so, to run a business or to manage a business. You guys who understand entrepreneurship or business ownership, you understand what I'm saying. And so I want us to look at this approach for those who have the money with their income tax, or those who are going to receive their income tax. Again, I can't tell you what to do, but what I will encourage you to do is to really sit down and look at your finances and evaluate it, and to see what is a need and what is a want, and how can you help position yourself financially to have financial freedom and to have ownership. And so that's all I got for you. I don't want to overtalk it. I would appreciate if you guys could comment, share, and go share this content with someone. And for those who haven't subscribed, please subscribe, because I believe this channel is going to be a blessing to the world. I don't want to overtalk it. I just wanted to drop that in your souls today. I love you guys. I believe in you guys. And please keep me in your prayers. I need some fervent Holy Ghost prayer in Jesus' name. We'll talk soon.